Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's session. Today we will go for Add Maths October 2025, paper 1-2. Let's go. Question 1. On the axis, sketch the graph of this. This is a cubic graph and state intercept of the axis. X-axis means y equals 0, so we can confirm x equals to 1, x equals to 5, x equals to 5 over 2. Next, we need to know where is the y-intercept. We substitute x equals to 0. So it's 25. Pass through 1, 2.5, and 5. Then we just draw it. Make sure x-axis and the y-axis are labeled clearly. Part B. Hence solve the inequalities of the graph is less than 0. Less than 0 means it is below the x-axis. So which region is below the x-axis is this region and this region. So we can confirm my x is in between 1 and 5 over 2, and x is more than 5. And we check back the original equation, include the equal sign, so my final answer also need to have equal sign. Question 2. The polynomial p is such that px is this, where a and b are integers. It is given that x plus 2 is a factor of px, which means when x is minus 2, my whole equation equals to 0. And then when px is divided by x plus 1, which means we substitute in x equals to minus 1, there is a remainder of 6. So find the value of a and b. We substitute in my x with minus 2. Then we substitute in x equals to minus 1. So I substitute 1 into 2. After we get a, then we substitute into b equation. Let's say I substitute into 2. b equals to 14. So I will get the value of a and b. Then confirm my px equation is this. Part B, show that the equation this thing equals to 0 has only one real root. So we already confirm x plus 2 is one of the factor. We know it is x plus 2 and something else. So this question, obviously, we need to use the long division to find the quadratic. 2x squared times x will become 2x cubed. This time this will become 4x squared. Up minus down. So we can confirm this part is 2x squared plus 3x plus 7. X is confirmed minus 2. We need to prove this part no real roots, so we use b squared minus 4ac. We do not give conclusion of it's less than 0. First, we need to count the value to show it's less than 0. b squared minus 4ac less than 0, so no real root here. So this is the conclusion we can make, then full 3 marks. Question 3 is the progression or series question. First, they talk about the first 2 terms of geometric progression. So when I talk about 1 term, 2 term, or 3 term, that easily we can use u1, u2, u3 to express. I will write in u1 plus u2 equals to 9. So the terms for geometric is ar n minus 1. So the first term is a, second term is ar power 1. So these 2 equals to 9. And it says the sum of infinity is 25. So we use the formula. Then we can try to solve it. Divided by 1 minus r means times 1 minus r. The good thing of 1 plus r and 1 minus r is it will become 1 squared minus r squared. 4 over 5. So like this, we can get what is the common ratio of it. Then go for part B. Find the first term of the geometric progression for each possible value of r. So we just substitute into the equation. We have r equals to this or r equals to this. This part is 45. This part is 5. We go to question 4. Show that this can be written in this way, which means completing the square. So we always don't care about the number in front of x squared first. Then we put big bracket squared minus small bracket squared, copy the last number. And then this part we extract here, x plus 5. And then The second term we divide by 2 and copy this to here. At last, only we put the number in front of x squared in 4 position. Like this, we can gain full marks. Hence, write down the coordinate of stationary point of this curve. So from comparing the square, we can confirm. From here, we can get what is the stationary point of the x value. X plus 5 over 4 equals to 0. So x equals to negative 5 over 4. And then the y value, we directly copy from here. So this is the stationary point of it. Next, a function f is such that this equation and then x more than p, where p is a constant, it is given that inverse function exists. So we know quadratic function, usually it cannot have inverse function because it is not one-to-one function, but we can just erase one part. Let's say we only want the right-hand side part, then we erase the left-hand side part, then it will become one-to-one function. So from the turning point, the x value will decide this. So we can confirm the value of p equals to minus 5 over 4. Or you can write as x more than minus 5 over 4. You can display your answer in this way or this way. Last, we go to part 2. Using your value of p, sketch the quadratic graph of fx and f inverse. So we must state the intercept of each graph with the axis. So let's check first. When y equals to 0, it is minus 3 over 2 or minus 1. But since we know the turning point is minus 5 over 4, then we know we choose the right-hand side because my x must be more than minus 5 over 4. X equals to 0, my y is 3. I know minus 1 and 3 is a very important point. And then my graph is start from 5 over 4, which is slightly here, and then all the way go up. This is my fx graph. Then before we draw the f inverse, we need to draw y equals to x line. And then we draw the inverse graph. We know x equals to minus 1 will become y equals to minus 1. And then 0, 3 will become 3, 0. I start from minus 5 over 4 like this. So this is my f inverse. Then this is the one-to-one function of the quadratic for both original and inverse graph. Question 5 is a log question. A, they ask you to write all these in a single base of 10. This is already in log base 10, so I just throw the number in front as a power. And then same go to this, I change the 4 as power. And then at last, the minus 3, they don't have log base 10 yet, so I add log base 10, 10. Then it will be 1, so it won't affect the whole equation. Then this thing, I can throw it up. Then after done, all of them is in log base 10, and then it's a plus minus relationship. Then we can join them into single log. Everything that in front is positive, we put it up. Everything in front is negative, we put it down. So here 10 power 3 is 1000. Like this, we successfully join them as single base of 10. Part B, solve the equation of this. So when we have two different base, we will change the base that's easier to count. Here we will choose 5, so this will remain. This up, down also we make it into log base 5. Then the big number put up, base initially we put down. Then every time we have this kind of question, we will remove the denominator by the whole equation times log base 5x plus 1. The first part times this will become this whole thing square. And then this part up, down, cut, then left log base 5, which is 1. Then we can continue solve. So we throw minus 1 become positive 1, and then square throw here will become plus minus 1. Then remove the log base 5. Either 5 power 1 or 5 power minus 1. So x equals to either 5 minus 1 or 1 over 5 minus 1. X is either 4 or negative 4 over 5. And both answers are accepted because both x value can fulfill the criteria which the baby must be more than 0. Question 6 is a modulus question, so we can directly split it into two parts. First part, we copy exactly everything. Second part, we copy, but one of the part we change symbol, so we change the 5 to negative 5. Make sure you only change one part, and then you solve both parts. here we already have two answers, then we continue do here. For this part, we are unable to do factorization, so we must use quadratic formula to solve. That's why it have 5 marks. So total we will have 4 answers. Question 7, they give you points A, B, C, ask you to find the gradient of AB, AC, and BC. So we do one by one. Y minus Y, X minus X. Done to get all the gradient. Then part B, hence find the equation of circle which passes through point A, B, C. Since we know circle, it passes through A, B, C, and this gradient and this gradient showing they are perpendicular to each other, so we can confirm common point is the point that we have the 90 degrees. So A to B and B to C form 90 degrees, so we can confirm AC is the diameter. This is the concept that we already learned under maths. Since we can confirm AC form the diameter, then we know what is the midpoint and we can find what is the radius. We find the midpoint first. A and C, we find their midpoint. And then the radius equals to. So after we gather the x, y, and radius, then we can apply the formula. X minus the center x squared plus y minus the center y equals to square of r. So this is the final answer. Question 8. On the axis, sketch the graph of long graph. State the intercepts with the axis and state the equation of asymptotes. Long graph initially is like this. But this graph moves left-right. How it moves left-right? It moves minus 3 over 4. Means move to the left by minus 3 over 4. The asymptotes already comes here. X equals to minus 3 over 4 because the question requires for equation of the asymptotes. And then we know what my graph will look like this. Then we need to find the intercepts of the axis, which means x equals 0 or y equals to 0. We find the value of y. Since this is a non-calculator paper, so just label this as 5 ln 3. You don't need to know what is the value in decimals. And when you find this x-intercept means y equals to 0. 0 divided by 5 is still 0, and then e power 0 is 1. So here is negative 1 over 2. So label correctly the x-intercept and y-intercept and also the equation of the asymptotes, then you score full mark for this. Question 9 is integration question because they say a curve have this equation. They give you f prime prime. We know from fx to f prime x to f prime prime x is differentiate, differentiate. So here they ask you to find back fx. And remember, every time you do integration to go back, you must find the plus c value. That's why they give you this info so you can find the value of plus c. So first thing, they ask you to find the coordinate of stationary point, which means f prime x or dy dx equals to 0. So we need to do one round integration first. Power plus 1 divided by new power plus c. And then they say the gradient is 2 over 3 when x equals to 2. C is 1, then we can confirm f prime x is this. Of course, we need to know what is the fx because they ask for the coordinate of stationary point, means that we need to have the x value and y value also. So we also need fx, power plus 1. Plus 1 will become plus x and then plus c again. And then we use the coordinate 2, 2. Y is 2, while x is 2. We have all the equation, then we can find the coordinates of the stationary point. So stationary point, we know dy dx equals 0. Use this. Dy dx equals to 0. The power minus half I throw down become this. I square both sides to remove the square root. X equals to minus 2. So we know x is minus 2. Then we know what is the y value, which is here. So we can know the coordinate is minus 2, 0. Then done, 11 marks. So after we gather the information, the question asks us to determine the nature of the stationary point. So we use f prime prime to count the nature, and then we know the turning point x value is -2. 1 is more than 0, so we can confirm this is a minimum point. Just like that, and you gain this 1 mark. Question 10, show that this equals to kx, where k is an integer to be found. We just simplify this part first by expanding it. So we know this part can cancel off each other. And then we have 2 sine square theta plus 2 cos square theta. And sine square plus cos square is 1. Then we can do this. Your life will be much easier after you simplify. So we become 2 theta. So we can confirm k is 2. Question 11, solve this. So we apply the formula. NCR means the top factorial over top minus bottom factorial. And then we still have bottom factorial. Same is good to this, top factorial minus bottom factorial, bottom factorial. So for this question, we have n plus 1 factorial and n plus 2 factorial. We reduce the larger part, which means we don't touch this n plus 1 factorial. We change this n plus 2 factorial because it's reducing by 1. So after n plus 2 will be n plus 1. Then it's the same, we stop with the factorial here. And then here is n minus 4. Here is n minus 5. So n minus 4 is larger. Then we reduce the n minus 4 and n minus 5. Then this 5 factorial is a smaller one, will remain. And then here is n minus 5 factorial. It's the same as this. 7 factorial, we change to 7 times 6 times 5 factorial. Everything on the left and right of the equal sign is the same, then we can cancel off because this n plus 1 factorial through here will become n plus 1 factorial divided by n plus 1 factorial. Same goes to this and this. And this up down also can cut. On the left hand side, everything cut left 1. On the right hand side, left this. 42. So n is 40. Just like that. Question 12 is differentiation question. They say y is this and find the value of dy dx. So we just use u and v. Quotient rule, so we use this times this minus this times this divided by this square. And then they say when x equals 0, what is the value? So we times it. Here 2 times 0 is 0, so the whole term confirm is just 0. And then here e power 0, and then here minus 2 square, because 0 minus 2 is minus 2. Then we can confirm is minus 1 over 4. Part B, when x equals 0, y is increasing at a rate of 0.5 units per second. So we can confirm dy dt is 0.5. Ask you to find the corresponding rate of change of x. So just now we already know my dy dx. When x equals to 0, it is minus 1 over 4. So we have this info and this info. They ask us to find this, means dx dt. Every time talk about rate is dt. So we know it's dx over something times something over dt. We have dy over dx, so here we fit in dy dy. What is dx dy? Is the reverse of minus 1 over 4, so it's minus 4 over 1. And then dy dt is 0.5. Then we can confirm it's minus 2. Question 13. For this situation, they give you the x value and y value and ask you to make y in terms of x. So you refer back to the identities in the front, and here we have cotangent square. So cotangent square equals to cosecant square minus 1. And cosecant square you can change to sine, and then here also have sine. Then you can relate them using the sine. So we do for this y first. It is cosecant square minus 1. Then from here we know sine theta is this. Then we subs them together, and then you can get what is y in terms of x. Since it's dy, we swap upside down when changed back to times. 3 square is 9. This 2 minus x2 square. So this is y in terms of x. So this is the end of today's paper. So hope you learned something from this, and all the best for your preparation for paper 1, non-calculator paper. See you in the next class. Bye-bye.